Greetings, welcome to the mat. You may want some props for this heart opening sequence today. A bit more stretch in the base. So let's give ourselves a few moments to anchor in, pose. You may have something like a block, a strap, possibly even a bolster or blanket, pillows to assist with some of these stretches today. You'll find your comfortable pose to sit in. Give yourself some time to anchor. Let's breathe in. Exhale. From the top of the head down, sending any energy that doesn't serve you to the center of the earth. Breathe in. Hold around 5 seconds. No tension. Exhale. Shoulders squeeze back. Heart is opening more. Inhale. Fill up the lungs. Every cell, every pore. Exhale. Let's bring our palms together in front of the heart center. Lift your heart, draw shoulders back, drawing the navel in, yet lifting up out of the pelvis. Relaxing your neck as the chest lifts, and we bow inwards to a sankalpa, an intention of opening our heart. Let's vibrate internally, tuning in with long Om. Let's take our right hand in your practice to your heart. Extend the left arm out to the side, slightly back, palm up. Feel that lift, and then we're going to bend at the elbow and cross behind the back, keeping the right hand in your practice, center of your heart. Let's draw the head slightly towards the left. You want your body to stay still centered. A couple more deep breaths. And kind of sense the energy around your heart. And notice that there's an energy that's kind of lifting up to the warmth of your palm. You're not letting your palm push your heart down. We're still anchored through some core support. Ujjayi Pranayama. And it's not about getting it so-called perfect. It's just about creating practice. Practice includes so many subtle components. We're going to take our right hand down to the floor, bring our head in line with our spine, unwind, and take a lateral stretch over. Inhale through to center. Deep breath in. Exhale. So you're welcome to change the cross of the legs here or your ankles. Breathing into center, place your left hand on the center of your heart chakra, your anahata. You'll be moving to the opposite side, so feel stable and connected to your core. Extend your right arm out. Think about the direction that you want to maintain an open. So we're moving more from the arm, not the shoulder. And we all have our own kind of body things. My left ankle, my right shoulder are my continuum in terms of refining alignments, healing old wounds, injuries. So you want to connect here. Again, we're going to let the head go off to the side. We try to hold our center. Maybe the physical eyes are closed as we gaze within the brow center, the ajna. We're able to see that our root lock is sincerely grounding us, stabilizing us, bringing security. And we're able to amplify our sankalpa, our intention, inner visualization. And that may mean that you're visualizing a word or affirmation, restating it through the mind's eye, chanting it. We don't want to overthink or react during this process of opening our heart. There is that surface work to release tension. There's the inner work. To release any heaviness, maybe on your heart, in your heart, spiritually, emotionally, energetically. Maybe something's kind of weighing you down physically in your heart. Upper body posture. We want to sense again that there is this relationship in our core. This supports us for what we're asking in this above modality. Opening your heart, getting some neck, shoulder stretch. Hug into your basis. Let your left hand draw down. Head in line to your spine. Drawing up and over. Keep the arm in line with your shoulder. Take the full breath in. And coming through to center. Give yourself an exhale here. Let's roll the shoulders up and back and down. The other way. Pause a moment, interlace your fingers. Press your palms forward, scoop the navel in. Take it up, go towards your left. Inhale, center. Towards your right. Inhale, center. Twist left. Inhale, center. Twist right. Inhale, center. Open and exhale. We're going to come to hero's pose if you can. Otherwise, switch your legs again. Interlace your fingers the other way behind you. Lift up. Press the hands initially down. grind the ribs in here. We're going to see if we can send the hands away without having to drop forward. Please use props. Elbows bend. Keep that opening in your heart space. Slowly release. If you kind of have some excess energy there, kind of feel free to shake it out. Let's move a few moments to tabletop. Take time to feel your body. It may feel like legs need to stretch out somehow. Tabletop can be a good practice. Those that have a more level 1 to 3, all levels beyond beginner, might find that they're stretching down dog, which is also a bit of heart opening. So you're either stretching out from tabletop, the puppy dog pose, or you can use down dog. Feel that opening through the shoulders, the chest, anchoring and strengthening through your legs. We'll return, hands and knees pose. Take the knees out really wide. This is where you may want to have stacks of blankets, or if you have something like a bolster, firm pillow, it's going out in front of you. You want your bottom to come all the way down with that elongated sense through the back. So some of us might have to lift up, access some deep abdominals, take a moment there to get the shoulders out of the neck. So you can bring it in until the points of the elbows come to the edge. You want space for your head to relax down on. And you can also scoot it forward and have it more for your hands or arms, so long as you can still create that space to lengthen. We're melting the heart down. The forehead can be resting towards something. If you're very new to yoga practice and new to child's pose, just trying to do things to open up some space around your armpits in whatever arm variation you can comfortably support, so that your thoracic and upper back are less rounded in as a turtle and more open in the front of the chest. It's very important that we recognize yoga as a personal journey. There's nothing we're trying to make our bodies do. It's an invitation to really be present and honor where you're at. Be open-hearted to your personal experience, less judgmental. Periodically, you may want to check in that you're not gripping the face. Not gripping the neck. So if you're in something here and you need to take a break, please do. We have about 1 more minute. Connect to your Ujjayi breathing. And just imagine, if you can, opening with your breath some of this energy through the back of your heart. Make little micro adjustments and movements. Those of us that practice in our things like our handstands, our forearm stands, dolphin pose. The last few moments here, if you have something to extend out, whether on the floor or on a prop, your lower arms become active. You turn your palms in. This is also nice technique work for downward facing dog. And you're imagining you're pressing down on your forearms so that you're not locking your elbows. Feeling that calibration of the arm muscles to the shoulders, and notice how the muscles are helping you open the front of your heart. Without pushing your ribs in or pushing out from the pelvic floor, everything draws up and in. Final time, deep breath. Inhale, slowly coming up. Maybe a nice time to check in with your knees again. Notice if you need to stretch your legs out somehow. We'll take 5 deep breaths. A mindful practice of downward facing dog or tabletop leg stretches, puppy dog pose. Practice cat cow. A moving meditation. One more time. Feel the shoulder loop or the head lifts. So as much as possible, as if a string was on the sternum, something that's pulling forward. So the heart isn't just going down. We're going to exhale, find our way towards a seated posture. We work into a spinal twist pose. So give yourself a couple of moments. And in the spinal twist, you can, of course, modify this. We're going to see if we can have our legs extending out. Take a deep breath in. Place your right leg up and over the left. Inhale, left up. Exhale, twist. If your elbow doesn't go outside your leg, you hug your arm around your leg. Feel your heart opening. Inhale and line. Exhale, breath. Take a moment. Sitting here, staff pose. Switch it out, crossing the opposite. Inhale. Working yourself mindfully to the other side. We're to add in to this moment is that yoga is much more of an inner journey than an outer expression. And our physical interpretation and expression of the pose changes practice to practice, maybe week by week, month by month, year by year. That inner state of ourself is something that we're learning to maintain. So our Ujjayi breath is part of this, illuminating ourself in a higher consciousness with our intention of healing is part of this. Here's where you may want to have your bolster or a stack of blankets setting up behind you. We're going to go longwise. Keep the soles of the feet together. Reset the hips. Some of us like the touch right up against the sacrum, and some of our bodies need an inch or two of space before we make contact. You want to feel yourself opening up. Your arms are going to try to come out like palms upwise, cactus, or goal pose. Checking in that our body can have something that makes contact. So you don't want to be able to put an arm or hand under your body. You want enough props that you can do this. You can also, you won't have as much direct opening in the spine without the lift somehow, but you're welcome to lay down on the back if you have no props and just practice. Now I want you to connect to yourself in such a way, not from mind ego of expectation or perfectness, but I want you to conceptualize this breath theory that to truly affect our central nervous system and have it be so calibrated that it literally changes us in a brainwave pattern. We want our breath to go down from like 16 breath a minute, quite average. We're actually thinking, how could we create a pattern of breath for ourselves, sustainable, that would be 4 breaths per minute? Now, I've been working with pranayama for many, many years in various different ways. I am still learning to obtain that for longer and longer periods of time. It takes quite a bit of understanding of our physiological componentries as well as our respiratory system and what areas of our body we can ask functionality from, and it not be overwhelming to the part of us that has to do the work and the effort. So build your practice. Your yoga practice is like a beautiful flower. It illuminates through the murkiness of the mud, our darkness, our ego, our learning curves, our potentials of learning to literally be with ourselves. Because you're just here, and this pose lasts a few minutes in order for it to have some of the basic effects we're hoping for. So what else do you got to do in that time? But show up. Allow yourself to draw inwards to where even my voice, it's not so frontal in something that you're exchanging hearing with, but that my voice is more like a faded backdrop. And what you're learning to actually really hear is yourself breathe moment to moment. And that might mean that you are tapping into kind of higher consciousnesses with your own self. You're going through a healing journey. You might be asked to really take some moments that might not be in line with an instructional cue. Let's do one more minute here. Relax and release. Feel yourself do things that allow you to open your heart. Did your body need you to subtly adjust? Periodically, we might need the lion's breath. We'll learn over time through our pranayama practice further and further support, and this is some of where the bandhas can really help unify the subtleties and clear out our channels. So we have a subtle suspension and retentions of breath. And these are applied at the top of our inhale and at what we would call like the bottom or the last, the end part of the exhale. So that actually means then we're slowing down our breath 4 cycles a minute, and we're connecting each of those breaths with a 4-part sequence. And these can work with us continually. So when you're lying down at night for Shavasana as a resting position before bedtime, hopefully you try to practice it then. It's perfect time. Eventually you just let yourself go to sleep. It's wonderful. But you can do this kind of soft, elongated pranayama to just really calm down. We've been here our time frame, so we're going to very, very slowly draw the legs up. Draw yourself over and down on one side, giving some support here as we breathe in. Engaging our core, exhale. Slowly coming up. Take a few moments coming to seated pose. If you can practice hero pose in the version of its fullness, applied as such, I'll show you with the props as well. We're going to be sitting down. Feet are off to the side. So for a lot of us, we're going to sit with our hips elevated on something. And there are many props. So you could add a block on top of a bolster. And you can also check if it doesn't feel quite right for your legs, your knees, the feet can be drawing more directly in line. So yoga is a systematic practice that we develop through continuous practice. I have been sitting like this in my body, in my life, since I was a teenager. Even before I started really doing yoga poses, not really knowing what yoga really was. I just was drawn to certain types of positions. So please allow for your practice to develop. We're going to work with the cow face stretch, keeping the pelvis in this neutral position. Some of us will have a yoga strap. The strap will be held in the right hand, right arm coming up and back behind us. Left hand coming around to grab. Now in your yoga body, if your hands easily clasp together where you know your knuckles won't turn white, you know you won't be straining and you'll be able to focus more in your breath, in the open-hearted energy, the intention over the physicality of the pose, then clasp your hands. Otherwise, for the intended purpose that it's more of a yin, softer sense of opening, so that we can be more inward bound, healing. Feel yourself open your heart. Slowly release. Try to maintain the seated position for your hips. Bearing witness, letting go, story and judgment. Let's practice on the other side. Just kind of checking in. So we draw up. The strap behind us if we're working with it. Over the past few years, as I've done more physical types of labor, like stacking wood, chopping wood, doing things like learning how to use mini chainsaws, pushing heavy wheelbarrows. It's really interesting how different things relate to then how our body kind of works and is available to us. So for my sense today, for instance, I'm tight. And I know that I can touch my hands, clasping them together. But I also know it'll shift my energy, less spiritual bound around opening my heart, and will be more in just the physical layer of the body expression. So again, even say we can do something. Yoga wisdom is all about knowing the should be. You want things to have more of a sukha. How loving and kind can you be through your expression of letting go of what you just were experiencing with yourself? Sometimes we might think somehow the interpretation of being asked to do something like our yoga pose or work on it, something specific. And when that energy comes through, we may kind of think of it sort of like as a bad thing, or we might be holding a lot of resistance. We're going to stretch our legs out here. Release. Cross your ankles so your right side is more forward, or place your foot on top, twisting once more today. So another thing that we just want to be interlacing with is our ability to let go. Through to center, we switch out, however that was. Well, unwinding and coming down. So here, we're going to work with our last opening in the upper back and the heart today. So this will be something where a blanket, it would sit in under the back of the shoulders so that the head and the upper part of the shoulders can be coming down. You may want to have your feet staying on the floor. Some of us may even have something like to elevate the hips, but you want to protect your back and just being careful. So coming down really slow. I'm gonna kind of come forward. So I've got a bolster with me today. So I'm going to show you this variation. I'm going to use a block and set the block under my pelvis and then allow my legs to extend and get the shoulders down. If you have a blanket, your blanket is just rolled in, and since it's a smaller prop, it sits in less amount of your body. So you may not need to do the pose with the block under the hips. Relax your shoulders down, the arms down by your sides. Last part of practice, so giving some moments here. The heart opening. Maybe you're noticing too some of this kind of energy around the solar plexus. We want to be mindful that we're not putting compression in our low back or tension in our neck. Ujjayi pranayama. Relaxing any tension in the surface around your face, your hands, your hips, sliding as much of your body, just relaxing into a calmness. Give yourself a few more moments of deep breathing where you're at. Slowly, you're going to find your way on your back so you're completely down, where you're welcome to hug your knees into the chest. Practice some moments there of Apanasana, and you can use some further time to a more traditional Shavasana on the mat. That's a good recipe for you. You may be needing to gently move forward to your day somehow. So you'll just take some moments sitting up. Let's take a deep breath in. And let the breath go. Give another deep breath in. Hands to the heart center. Acknowledging yourself, closing out. Long Om Sri Shanti. Vibrate that through your heart center. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.